We are here.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're having a tabletop conversation.
Here on October the 1st, because we're getting ready to put this in the long spoon that we send out later today.
To our members. This is one on the Situla. What is a Situla?
Yeah. A Situla is actually a vessel that holds liquid and is sovereign in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And Situlas go all the way back through ancient history. The word Situla refers to being able to hold water.
Yeah.
And it was as far back as the Egyptians.
Yeah.
Had Situlas.
The Sumerians, all throughout Mesopotamia.
The Greeks.
The Romans, all had these vessels, and they were
called Situlas.
Yeah, called Situlas. And for the most part, the reason they carried forward through the time was they were considered sacred. They had daily applications for carrying water, but also there were those that were used in a more sacred, revered practice.
Well, like in the Catholic Church that uses the
comes down to that
Situla
today.
that it swings out and puts out holy water over the people. It's been used, and then even in the Sumerians, everybody wants to know what that bag is. The Sumerian is holding,
yeah.
And it's a Situla. And Situla also, in holding water, it holds information. Because water is actually a vessel for information. All the research has been done on waters by...
what is it? And the Japanese, he's passed away, but the Japanese researcher on water, we'll come up with the name later. But did research on the effects of sound on water, emotion imprint on water, and how water obviously is... basically a superconductor. It conducts so easily, and
that was also in the Ghostbusters, where underneath New York, any kind of gelatinous thing could hold emotion.
It carried all the negative emotions of New York City.
But we chose this because a Situla is about carrying information, and we call it the codex because that's the information.
Yes, yeah.
And the human body is a Situla.
Yeah, and that's why we selected this name for the site, because that we feel the body is a sacred vessel holding the information that's been given to it to have its life.
Even your dreams are in your body waters, your memories, and your body is a sacred vessel, and we want to remind ourselves and everyone that is. And when we take it in that way, we're different with our bodies.
Yeah, I think that in today's world, there's so many people, there's such a busyness going on that you tend to forget, and the reminder is welcomed for us too, that we like to share, is that yes, indeed, you are a sacred vessel. So there's more to you than just the hurry through the day that happens. There's a place of sitting into yourself.
So all the information here at the Situla Codex is information that's held, like holds water, the information that we all are and what we're given to share. And inferential patterns are a way of affecting, through the retinal implantation, the body waters.
Yes. So having just above this conversation on this members page, the video about Situla Codex, the reason that we chose the swaying movement in the film was as an emotional reminder of the swaying and the motion of a boat on water. It's the swaying of the trees in the air as they accept and receive the wind as it passes through.
Well, also throughout our whole life, people talk about things that happen to them and things that they see and how it imprints on them. We are easily imprinted because we're so visual. that our retina easily imprints, and our whole emotional system in the sounds, our waters imprint.
Mm-hmm.
And so years ago, when we asked for something to help consciousness move in an easier way than the ways we were moving, and faster, that it had to be much faster.
Mm-hmm.
And we were given this system.
Mm-hmm.
And we started out, just with no really previous training in that, except our own intention and the own sacredness we held, and that we were artists of very different kinds.
Yes.
So it started through art.
But we asked for an authentic, organic way to come to a place where you could sit into yourself, you could listen, and then receive more of what the world, the universe, the expansion,
Your own sovereignty,
your
own
consciousness can give you.
And so it's very difficult in this world to get to that place.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were given patterns that assist people getting to that place, to what their own rights are.
Mm-hmm.
We have all these rights, but we can't get to them because along the way we've been imprinted through history with limitations. And how do you lift those limitations out when you don't even remember them? Or things that are done by the media that actually affect the way we feel about our limits and the way we think. How do we get back to our own sovereignty in ourselves? And these were the patterns, and we call them the avatars because they actually assist with those consciousness movements, but they don't assist beyond the will of the being that's working with them. You work with them in your own timing. You imprint them as deep as you want, or as shallow as you want. It is timed and is a rhythm. It's like Robert said, it's like water, and it's like tacking with the wind. It's like, here you make that move and you take that pattern in this deep, and then all at once it's almost too much, and then you tack over
And
here,
the wind shifts,
and then
and
you take a pattern that helps you with the limitations you ran into, with that clarity of your own sovereignty.
It really
and so it
is.
moves back and forth.
That
in
metaphor
its
of
depths.
sailing is very accurate, and that's why we use the boat, because these are vessels on the water. These are the ones that navigate through from one place to another, a journey, a travel. So as the wind shifts, then you become aware of it, and then you tack, you move in another direction to catch the wind, to continually move forward in your expansion, your curiosity, your seeking. And these are tools all on this site. These are tools to help assist in that.
But we realized that these
type of
tools,
living.
in order to help the world move quickly, they had to be available on more levels.
Yes.
And it couldn't be something that people had to pay for or learn, because in that is tremendous amounts of limitations. So we, as soon as we learned the technology that we could share this, we started doing it.
Yes, and we put this
And
on
we've
for,
had these
for
patterns
years.
on the different websites that we've had, so that people could go on. But also now we know they move on the web. They move on through the web, and so that it's available to the whole world. And when the monks came, we showed them the little books that we had the patterns in originally, and we didn't even hardly say anything. They sat down and they imprinted all 700 patterns, the three monks did, and then they were done. And we didn't, it's like they knew it, they imprinted it, they were done. And so when they go back to India, everyone has those patterns because they're in their field. And so they're there to share, and anybody that wants them can move them into their field.
Yes.
And if any part of the self is wanting to move forward, it can use those patterns, even though there's other parts that are blocked in being able to attain that kind of sovereignty.
Yeah.
And that was just absolutely thrilling to us, that they immediately knew without us even explaining it to them. And so what we knew is that not only did they have it, and all the people they work with have the opportunity of having them and using them, but all the people, all their their monastery and all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still giving patterns. And
Yeah.
everyone that knows us has had the opportunity to have these patterns in our field, and everybody that knows them has the opportunity to have the patterns, and it just keeps moving.
Yeah.
It's almost like the terrible pandemic we have, except that it's changing consciousness instead of killing consciousness.
And
And
I,
but
and
that's kind of like the Sword in the Stone,
mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
Disney movie where the only way he could
The battle between
uh,
the
Arthur.
Arthur, no, between Merlin
Oh yeah, Merlin.
and the witch in that little animated film was as they battled back and forth trying to become bigger and bigger
Transform
and
bigger and
bigger
bigger.
to win. And finally Merlin had the
Sounds like
insight,
our politics.
yeah, had the insight to go small instead of big, to become
A germ.
smallpox or whatever it was,
It
a
became a
germ.
virus
He became a germ, a virus that then defeated her in the
because
sense
she
that
caught it.
because she caught it. She caught that small had power.
Yeah.
And boy, it laid her out
And it
in
did.
bed, not feeling so good
And
because
he
she
could
had to
take care of
realize.
Arthur.
Yeah,
And these are
it's a
all
children's tale, but it's
children's
important.
tales, but it's inside of the sacred myths and ancient myths. There's something very tiny
Mm-hmm.
that is immense. It's
Yeah.
always. It's like Cinderella, very insignificant, but she became immense. It's over and over again in all our childhood stories, all our myths.
Mm-hmm.
And we were given that passage of those stories to go by.
Yeah.
And so
So what we want to do is, those of you that are listening to this in the membership area, that we put things on our site that are free to everyone because it needs to be out there to be given. But you, by electing to become a member, you are helping to ensure that this continues to go forward and expands to reach more people. So you have picked up the long
well,
spoon to help feed others by you supporting the feeding
and then
of
we know
this
you are a
work.
seeker.
Yes.
And a seeker, then whatever you get here, we pick for the month. You carry that with you,
Mm-hmm.
and you give it to others.
Yes.
Just in your presence.
Just in your presence.
And we are grateful. We are
Yeah.
grateful for you.
Mm-hmm.
We are grateful. We need 200 seekers for us to just
Be able to move this forward.
be able to survive and
Yeah.
do this work.
That's true.
And
So thank
you so very much.
very, very much.